challenge halts them in their tracks.
Is it on the ground? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what an opportunity!
They got it on that. Oh, they stopped them and it still worked. Let's go. Look, he scooped it up almost.
I was like extremely close to his face.
Like, I didn't have that much height. It just kind of like had a lot of speed. This game's stupid.
And I can do that. I'm just gonna run straight down, see if you can hit me.
So dumb.
Ready?
So broken. I can't even get the ball from him.
Let's go.
This game is so dumb, dude.
Ronaldo. Ronaldo.
The header, dude.
That's how you do it.
This should not be a thing. Like, I just launched like an 80-yard ball to you. With our second pro player build of FIFA 22 Pro Clubs, we are going over Cristiano Ronaldo, aka CR7. In the first pro player build we did, it was over Leo Messi. So we're going over the two legends of modern football. So let's get started with this Ronaldo striker build. And it's only fitting because he just scored a hat trick today as I'm recording this, and it'll be out tomorrow, the day after. But he just scored a hat trick for Man United. So it's very good timing with this video. So this CR7 build is a striker. And let's talk about the height and weight that we have for this build. Similar to the Messi build in Pro Clubs, it's extremely difficult to make a Ronaldo build in Pro Clubs just with the amount of skill points they give us. We need more skill points to actually kind of make it exactly like what he has in Ultimate Team, like his cards in the past and even the card he has right now. So we're going to do our best and basically put my take on it for a Ronaldo build. There's some alternatives you could do, like when it comes to the skill tree for this build. And I'll give you those. Like when it comes to like Ronaldo has like crazy jumping and heading on the skill tree. I didn't focus on that too much because we kind of used the skill points for other stuff, like on the shooting page, a bit on pace, and then dribbling as well because we had to get the 5-star skills, which cost a little bit of points. So we didn't focus on the jumping and strength a lot, especially just the jumping mostly and the heading accuracy. So I'll give some alternatives for that once we get to the skill tree if you want to focus mostly on that, similar to what we did with the Messi build for like passing if you wanted to focus on passing. So for the height and weight for this build, we are 6'2", 119 pounds. He is 6'2" in real life, so it's perfect. I know in my Ronaldo build last year, I think I made it 6 foot just because it was a little bit better to make it a 6 foot build. But this time 6'2" is pretty nice because you can actually use taller builds and make them more usable in Pro Clubs this year. They're definitely a lot more usable. So 6'2", and then for the weight, I didn't really know what to pick. It was either going to be like 119 or one up, like 121 or 149 is like the highest you can go in this little weight section until the stats change. But if you go over 149, it kind of goes away from his actual body type in game. It makes him a little bit chunkier, and he's kind of lean. Like he's really strong, obviously, but he's pretty lean also, like with his body type. So I think 149 or 119 would be best. I opted to go for 119 because the dribbling stats are a little bit closer to his actual 91 rated gold card in Ultimate Team, and also just the pace is a bit better. So you really can't go wrong with either. Nothing's going to really change on the skill tree, like skill points wise, where you're allocating your skill points. So if you want to go a little bit higher in weight, definitely go for that. There's some more positives and there's also some negatives to going up in weight a bit. But I decided to go 119, and that's what we did, 6'2", 119 for this Ronaldo striker build. On to the perks. And before we go into explaining why I picked these perks, I want to let you guys know that my teammate actually used this Ronaldo build more than me. He used it the majority of the time while I was kind of testing out the free kick taker build that I posted on my channel recently, as well as the Messi build. But I did try the Ronaldo build out also. So he's mostly going to be using it in all the gameplay, and I'll have a few clips of it as me using the build. So for the first perk, we decided to go for one-time shot. And I feel like this is a must-have on a Ronaldo build. It increases your finishing, and just honestly any striker build in general, especially like a bigger striker like this one. It increases your finishing ability during one-time shots or headers, which is nice. Grants the finesse shot, flare, outside foot shot, and power header trait. The main reason I really like this is because of the power header trait. I know Ronaldo doesn't actually have the power header, but he's really good at heading in real life and on FIFA. He has 90 heading accuracy, something we actually don't have on the skill tree. But maybe since this, it said it increases your finishing ability for headers, it'll actually make the heading a bit better, like bump up the heading accuracy. and it'll also give you the power header trait, which is so clutch for headers, especially far range headers. You can actually make them a lot more if you didn't have the power header trait, and it kind of just overpowers the goalie. Sometimes you can go like right at the goalie, like right over the head, and I just hit my desk when I did that, right over their head, and they won't be able to react because it's just too powerful of a header. And then also on one-time shots, it'll increase your weak foot. So we have a 4-star weak foot on this build. If you have like a one-time volley or just a one-time shot with your weak foot, it'll actually bump it up to a 5-star weak foot, which is actually very nice. And that's why we have one-time shot, and very nice perk to have for this build. And then the second perk, we decided to go active first touch. We could also go skill dribbler. This is kind of like the two that you can swap out for if you want. Possibly even pinpoint cross. He has pretty good crossing, and we don't have like any skill points on the passing page. We kind of had to sacrifice the passing for this Ronaldo build to like spread the skill points out other ways. So I guess you could put like any of these three. And also you could put distance shooter if you want to take distance shots. We decided not to put that on this build. So any of these would actually be good, and even tireless runner. So you kind of have some options for the second perk. Like you don't have to go active first touch. But the reason we went active first touch on this build is because it's a bigger build. It's not the paciest. And what it'll do is increase your acceleration and sprint speed. Like when running onto a through ball, say like a midfielder hits like a wide through ball over the top, you're trying to get in behind on the defense. It'll actually increase your acceleration and sprint speed, which is pretty nice to have. Since we don't actually have max pace for this striker build, but I think I will go into some alternatives to actually get max pace for this build, but it's just really difficult, exactly like the Messi build, to spread all the skill points around. I wish they would give us like 25, 50 more skill points. That would be awesome. Maybe they'll do that later in the year, but I honestly doubt it. But that's why I went active first touch. But again, you could put like any of these perks, skill dribbler, pinpoint cross possibly, or tireless runner. Maybe not pinpoint cross. It might not be as useful for a striker build, but skill dribbler and tireless runner and distance shooter could be pretty good. On to the third perk, we have physical strength, which since we don't have too much stuff on the physical page, especially when it comes to jumping, Ronaldo only has like 77 strength on his 91 rated card in Ultimate Team. And I think we have like around 74 strength, if I'm not mistaken, on this build. So having the physical strength will actually bump that up even more, basically to what he has, maybe even more than that, like around 80 possibly. And then it'll also bump the jumping most importantly, which will be good for heading the ball and getting more header chances and getting your head on the ball and scoring with that power header on the one-time shot. So that's kind of why we went for physical strength. And these are the 3 perks that we have for this build. Let's move on to the skill tree now. So like I said earlier with the physical page, we didn't really focus too much on jumping for this Ronaldo build, even though it's one of his main attributes. Like he has 95 jumping in Ultimate Team. We're kind of just relying on that physical strength perk, increasing our jumping ability, even though it's probably not going to increase it to 90 plus jumping. Who knows how much it actually increases it? They don't really say. Like it could be +5, could be +10. We don't really know, which kind of sucks. But on this top left side, what we did, we got this strength right here, got this stamina for +3 stamina, and then we got this other strength, +4 strength for 3 skill points. And then I decided to go for this reactions, this +5 reactions for 3 skill points. He actually has 94 reactions, so this will actually get us to 90, which is actually pretty close. And I think it's just pretty good, +5 reactions for 3 skill points. But there is an alternative. Like if you don't want this reactions at all, you could take it off and put the skill points somewhere else if you find another place to put it. We'll see if we have some alternatives for this, maybe to possibly get enough skill points to get the acrobat archetype, which will increase the jumping quite a bit and maybe get it a little closer to what his jumping actually is. But I decided to put this on just to, especially since this is a taller build, might not feel the smoothest on the ball. Maybe it'll help, and I'll also kind of like make this more like a poacher striker build, like in the box, like react to strange situations when the ball is just like going and all crazy, bouncing off of people, deflections. Maybe you'll be like one of the first people to react to it. And it also helps for like jumping over slide tackles and like making your player do like automatic animations to like get out of situations. Reactions can be helpful that way. And then onto the top right side, we went for more stamina, +2 for 2 skill points. And then this one is actually pretty good as well. +4 reactions for 2 skill points. That's what gets us to the 90. And then I decided to bump the jumping up a bit. We had to bump it up at least a bit on the skill tree. So this one is 3 skill points for 3 jumping. And then I decided to go for more stamina, which I thought was pretty nice, especially since we don't have the tireless runner. So we got +2 stamina for 2 skill points to give us 77 stamina, and that's exactly what he has this year in Ultimate Team. I know this is like a video game, and it would be nice to have more stamina, especially since like even in his younger days, he'd probably have a lot more stamina than this. But like we kind of just have to waste a lot of skill points to actually get that stamina. But like I said, if we could possibly get the Acrobat archetype, that would be awesome. We'll see if we can work a way to get that if you guys want to like focus on the stamina and jumping increase for this Ronaldo build. So that's it for the physical page. 78 jumping, 77 stamina, 74 strength, which remember we have the physical strength perk, so it'll bump up the jumping and strength even more. 90 reactions and 73 aggression. Nothing on defending, and then on to dribbling, where we have the 5-star skills. Ronaldo has 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, so we had to get that, which is nice for me because I'm a big fan of 5-star skills in every single FIFA. So starting on this top left side, we went for this balance right here, got this dribbling, and then we got this skill moves. And then what you're going to do is only get this ball control, this 1 skill point for +2 ball control, and not get the one under it because we just don't have enough skill points to actually spend 3 skill points on +3 ball control. And that's another main reason why we went for the active first touch perk, because it says it increases your ball control, which is quite nice. So it'll actually make up for like not getting this extra ball control, which is pretty good. And then onto the right side, we got this agility, dribbling, got the 5-star skills, obviously. And then we've got this other agility, and then we left out the balance. We had to leave out the balance, and then we just went to the Lynx archetype, which we get 88 agility and 74 balance. And actually this year, these dribblings this year, like an Ultimate Team compared to his card, this is actually very accurate. He has 86 agility, we have 88. He has 74 balance, we have 74. So that's almost spot on, have a little bit better agility. And then he has 88 ball control and 88 dribbling. So we actually have 89 dribbling and then 86 ball control with the active first touch perk. So honestly, our dribbling stats are a little bit better than what he has this year in Ultimate Team. So that's pretty nice. And that's it for the dribbling page. Let's move on to passing. So I mentioned earlier that we had to sacrifice the passing page for this striker Ronaldo build because we just don't have enough skill points. We had to focus on physical, dribbling, and shooting, and even pace for this build. So we kind of just had to completely leave it empty, which is fine because this is a striker build. So you're not going to be the one making too many crazy passes. You're going to leave that up more to your creative players like your midfielders, your cams, your wingers, whatever it may be, to do more of the playmaking and making those type of passes. So that's fine. So we have nothing on the passing page, just base stats for this striker build. And now let's move on to shooting, where we had to go for the finisher archetype, just like we did for the Messi build, just to make the shooting absolutely crazy and almost match kind of what he has, except for shot power. He actually has 94 shot power. We don't really get close to that just because it's pro clubs. Honestly, we could get this other one right here to bump up the shot power even more and then possibly get this one as well. But again, like the problem that I've been having with these pro player builds, especially with players that are really high rated, it's just not possible unless we have more skill points in pro clubs. So we kind of just have to deal with what we have. So what we just did is we got the 4-star weak foot like he has, and then just get this finisher archetype. And the only thing you're going to leave off is the volleys and the penalties. So this will give us 97 finishing. He actually has 95 finishing on his card in Ultimate Team. 82 heading actually, like I mentioned earlier. Also, we couldn't really focus on the heading. What you would have to do is get this one for the shot power, and then see how there's 2 parts. You would have to click it again, and you would get like +4 heading actually, which is actually pretty nice. But remember, we have the one-time shot, which says it helps for headers, and it also gives you the power header. So the heading ability is still very good, even though it only says 82 heading accuracy. We have 83 shot power. Again, we just can't really get it much higher unless we have more skill points. 92 long shots. He has 93, so we're almost spot on right there. He has 86 volleys, and we have 89, so it's actually a little bit better. And then penalties, it's 80. It's like, it's whatever. There's no point of wasting skill points on penalties, and that's what we have for the shooting page for this Ronaldo build. You can pretty much finish almost all your chances. Even if it's on your weak foot, 4-star weak foot's not too bad. And even if it's a one-time shot on your weak foot, remember that you get the weak foot increase, so it'll actually go to a 5-star weak foot for this build. So keep that in mind. And now let's head over to the pace page, where there might be some controversy when it comes to the pace. But as I've mentioned already a few times, it's very difficult to spread these skill points around. So we left off this acceleration and sprint speed. We could try and figure out a way if we all want to get max pace, but I know this year in Ultimate Team, he has 87 pace, 85 acceleration, 88 sprint speed, so it's actually a bit better than that. And that's kind of the main reason why we went for the active first touch, because of the ball control increase and also for the acceleration and sprint speed increase when you're running onto a through ball. So it'll actually bump it up a bit more. But you would have to sacrifice some stuff on this build if you want the acceleration and sprint speed increase. It's 6 skill points for both. Honestly, I think it would be fine if you just left off this sprint speed and just went for the acceleration, especially because this one only gives you +2 for 3 skill points, and this one gives you +3 for 3 skill points, which is actually better. And I think acceleration is even more important just for making your player like better in skills and just like getting out of situations very quickly. It just makes your player feel faster rather than when it comes to sprint speed, because it takes a while to get up to the full sprint speed. So half the time you're really not even utilizing your sprint speed, you're mostly utilizing your acceleration. So if you have 3 more skill points to work with, then yeah, I would possibly go for the acceleration. And if it's possible, then maybe get the sprint speed, but it's not going to make too much of a difference. So that's it for this build, but let me go into some alternatives for like increasing this pace, like what you could do if you want more pace, and also if like you wanted more jumping, if it's even possible. Like you would have to take off this reactions, take off this strength, take off this stamina, and take off this jumping, and sacrifice the jumping ability, and then you could go full pace like that. Or you could just get the acceleration like I mentioned, and then go for the strength, and then go for the jumping, and then, yeah, maybe get the stamina like that. And then you would just leave off the reactions and just go for 85 reactions. I thought the 90 reactions was pretty cool, so that's why I went for that. But you don't have to go for it, and you could go for the 92 acceleration, and it'll maybe feel a little bit better when you're controlling the build. That's definitely an alternative. And then again, like if you wanted to, you could take all that off right here and then go for the full pace, and then you would have a few extra skill points to work with. And then if you want the Lynx archetype for the jumping increase, we still need 2 more skill points. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess you could take off the stamina, but then it's getting really... Actually, yeah, you could actually do that. You could take off the stamina, keep the strength to get 70 strength, and then we have the physical strength perk. And then you'll have 83 jumping with the physical strength perk, and that wouldn't be too bad either. So you could try that out. I wouldn't really touch anything on the dribbling. This is kind of perfect how it is. And then shooting, I think it's perfect as well. You don't really want to mess with that. And then you would have to keep the pace how it is if you want the increase in jumping. So that's basically what you'll have to do if you want the increase in jumping. And then, yeah, for the pace, I already showed you that. So I'm going to put it back to what I had, which I think is kind of more of a balance compared to those two. I don't know. There's like a bunch of different things you could do for a Ronaldo build. So those are like the 3 like alternatives that I would kind of go for. And you have 3 choices of kind of what you want to do. So that's going to do it for this CR7 build. If you have any more ideas of any like pro player builds that you would like to see me post a build on, please let me know in the comments. It can be past or present players, doesn't matter. And I'll give it a look and see if I can get to that build. Just keep in mind, there's a few other requests that are coming in, so I'll probably be getting to those. So you might have to be patient with me to actually get the build video out. But that's going to do it. Please leave a like on this video for me, and also hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 3K subscribers. That'll be a great milestone for the channel. And thank you guys for all the support. I really appreciate it. But y'all have a great rest of y'all's day, as always, and peace out.